Your thoughts?
So much to unpack here.
It is.
It's a lot, but one of the words that James mentioned was systemic. It is a systemic issue, and it's been decades in the making as far as the limited housing supply. But we go back to the 1930s, and even before then, when this nation faced a limited housing supply and the government had to build housing, who was at the back of the bus of the housing system? We were at the back of the bus. I think today we're still at the back of the bus of this housing system because, as we're seeing, they're building for those, in a huge margins, those who are wealthier and those who can afford, housing costs that's greater than $1,000 a month. And from what I'm seeing, and you will show a slide later, I mean, a studio apartment is in some places more than $1,000 a month, and a one-bedroom is as well. So decades of the lack of building, decades of, like you said, disparities, and to me, another word for disparity is inequity. Since we're talking about housing equity, I just don't even use the word disparity. I say a disparity is an inequity, because why are some people disproportionately more so impacted by the lack of housing opportunities? And there are a lot of factors as to that. And I also feel like, local housing policy, I get in a lot of debates regarding that is the way our local governments are also addressing housing policy. It's the way that they are approving certain zoning policies in certain areas. I know that they have, in some of our metro areas in Wake County, have actually identified like Southeast Raleigh and downtown Raleigh as places for intense growth and activity. That's a beacon for developers to come in, and most of the developers I know, and I've had the fortunate and our blessing to be in spaces where there are developers. I was part of the Duke Policy Forum, which is a leadership forum that Duke University puts on. They bring in bipartisan people to a space. So there were developers in the space, there were finance people in the space, there were advocates in the space, and lawyers in the space, and we were talking about the triangle and what could we do to solve this problem. And most of the developers are like, well, we need more subsidy, because a lot of the developers are saying that it's not profitable to them. It's not financially feasible for them to build affordable housing without a subsidy. So they're looking for subsidies like the affordable housing bond. You may have heard of a bond. The local government's passing a bond where they're able to help developers, build low-income housing or affordable housing, which is also defined as housing that's 80% of the AMI and below. So low-income housing tax credits, and I don't know if we're getting into that slide later, but these are some of the reasons why. It's because they're saying they need more government intervention in order to build housing that's at 80% of the area median income and below.